Alrighty. Hello. Welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 243. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is March the 1st of 2015, and can I say I am over the snow? I'm so over it. It's still snowing outside. Yes, I would really like for it to stop that. That would be great. Anyway, knitting. This is a knitting show. Hi. I'm distracted because I've been working on things that are not really conducive to working on the podcast. So I'm switching stitches over to waste yarn. What are you knitting? Why don't you go first?
I will go first. I just cast on earlier today the two-color beanie, which looks like this. I am, it is out of Australian Superfine Merino by Chuck Heaton, which looks like, it comes in balls that look like this.
Yeah, it has a cool construction, right?
It is, how many plies did I say earlier? 12?
4 cables of something.
So 8. So it's got, when you take it apart, because Leslie and I were discussing the ply construction earlier. So when you, I could have just done this, and then I could have said, oh yeah, I remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know. There's all these little plies, but those are actually 2 plies. So it's kind of cabled in its construction. So there's 1, 2 ply, 2, 2 ply, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So it's a 12 ply altogether, and it's nice and round and bouncy. It's definitely something that I would not use super sharp needles with, because you can see as I twist it a little bit, if it loses some of that twist, it becomes very splitty. But as long as you're not twisting it apart like I do all the time, you're probably fine. I'm knitting it on Eddie Turbos though, so it's not super splitty. I'm using a 16-inch size 5, which is a 3.75 or a UK 9. So this pattern, because it's from Australia, has millimeter sizes and the UK sizes, which really confused me.
I didn't realize the UK had their own set of sizes. I thought it was all millimeters or US Imperial
sizes.
Huh.
So like a size 5 US is a UK size 9. But a size 6 US is a UK size 8. Like, theirs go
in the opposite direction.
So I was really confused because UK in my mind said US because reading is fundamental.
It is.
And it really, really confused me. It's a nice yarn. It's nice and soft and nice and round and bouncy. The beanie itself only takes 2 colors. So I showed you the gray is the first color. And this yellow, this mustardy yellow, is the second. I really like the tags that come with it. They're like very substantial. Like this part goes inside the actual like ball, and then there's this Chuck Heaton ribbon, and it's like use that as a garment label.
That is very
really
fancy.
Clever and very fancy. It says it's an 8 ply, but I think that's weight. Like, a lot of, like, instead of saying DK, I think it's 8 ply. Or, worse, it would be an, I don't know. It's not really an 8 ply. It's a, I don't know.
Well, but if there were 4...
yeah, 4 of the
groups
individual
of 2 cables, it would be 8 ply, right?
Yeah, they sent, this was sent to me, so they sent a ton of promotional material, and I need to go through and read it because it's very cool. I'll show you what the promotional material looks like. It looks like this.
Wow.
Because it's all Australian merino, and there's a story that goes with it. Check it out. And this is a mill that my mom's actually been to when she went to Australia. Like, she was over and she's like, I know where that mill is. I've been to. It's actually the 90th anniversary of the, I'm going to totally butcher this, Wangarda Woolen Mill. That's associated with the Australian Superfine Wool Growers Association. And so it goes through like what superfine merino is. It's a really interesting thing. I just need to read more. So I will take care of that. But anyway, the tags are very substantial and very cool. And that ribbon I thought was a very neat idea. So I'm using smoke and mustard. The pattern itself is knit flat. There's no way. I'm knitting around. And actually, like, so in order to knit 2x2 ribbing in the round, it has to be divisible by 4, the number. This number that they have you cast on is not divisible by 4. So when you don't read, again, reading is fundamental, and you just cast on and start working in the round, and then you look down and you're like, this is not working. It's a good thing that you accidentally cast on that extra stitch, and then you just make that stitch into 2, and then you go.
So did they make it an uneven number for stitching when you match
Yeah,
your
for
stitches?
seaming.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you match a stitch, you lose 1 stitch on
Right.
each side. So they made it so that it would start with knits and end with knits. And on the reverse side, start with purls and end with purls. So it makes sense, kind of, sort of, but not if you're going to knit it in the round. So it's more of a recipe. Like, it was good to get an idea of, like, a number to cast on. But that's all I'm really using it for. And I already said Addy Turbos. It comes in this cute little project bag. So it's a little thick, and all this fits inside very nicely. So very sweet. Mama Linneman tried to seal it, and I told her no, because I'm caring like that. The other new thing that I cast on this week is I swatched. So this is a gauge swatch. I was looking for 16. I haven't even measured it. I was looking for 4 stitches to the inch. And so I cast on 24 and did 4 edge stitches in garter and just the middle 16 in stockinette. And I will take my like little handy dandy ruler later. Here it is. Okay. From Tangerine Designs and measure it. Right now, I already washed it. It's looking like it's pretty accurate. It might be actually 3¼ stitches per inch. That's what it's looking like. So I might have to take that into consideration. What I was, I could go down a needle size because it's kind of.
So what did you swatch for, Laura?
Oh, I know. I'm so.
You haven't even told me. That's why I'm
I
asking.
know. I swatched for Apple Cider Donut, which is a pattern from the Rhinebeck sweater book. Leslie was helping me try to pick patterns out, and so then I decided to completely change the yarn that I was going to use and change the pattern. I was originally going to knit either out of Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Tart colorway or Volmaza DK in one of the mouse colorways. But I was going through my sweater quantities, and I have 7 of this. It is Miss Babs Northumbria Aran Weight in the Clematis colorway. I got it at Stitches Midwest, I think. She was doing bags one year, and so like the whole bag was discounted heavily. Instead of being like 20, she was getting rid of the yarn.
Oh, okay.
Instead of being like $20 a skein, I feel like it was 10, something like that.
Something very motivational to grab.
Yes, to grab it, and it was purple. So I have enough to do that sweater. I'm probably going to do the collar. Is it this big cabled floppy collar? I'll probably make it a little less, like maybe only a couple inches, so it's not like a full cabley, but maybe I can go down. I might re-swatch and go down a needle size. That would be awesome, because this was a little bit more drapey. Actually, I kind of like it, but it's a little drapier than I was anticipating. So those are the 2 new projects. Old projects that y'all have seen before. The query, Patchwork Socks with Knit Picks Stroll for the toe and the cuff and the heel. There's the second one. And here's the first one with a heel. So, and they fit. So, I actually had to make the heel a little bit deeper because I did not go as far as I could have. But I'm glad I didn't because all I had left was that much. So maybe maybe a repeat.
Yeah.
So there's no way that I could have split they would have been fraternal socks.
Right.
If I had gone further, or less of a cuff, but I like the cuff the length it is. So that's the cool thing about afterthought socks, afterthought heels and socks. If it's a little bit too short, you just
add some depth to your sock before you start decreasing.
Yep. So first and then the second, I just have to pick out the stitches and do that. These were knit on 1.5s. And with the afterthought heels, I added in a few short rows to do a little mini gusset on the side. So I just need to do that for the second. I did the first heel yesterday while I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was hilarious. So I will look forward to the next one coming out. I had never even heard of that comic book. I don't know what rock I live under.
I'd never heard of it either. So,
but it's a big rock in which I don't pay attention to other things. And then last but not least,
the old shawl.
2 rows on
2 rows.
It counts. There's 2 whole rows.
Was one of them a rest row?
No, there are no rest rows.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
They're ribbed on the back side. Anyway, so 2 whole rows yesterday on Algiers by Kirsten Kapoor. That means I have 23 more rows to go in a bind off. So if I do 2 rows a day, I'll get it done in 10 days. Well, 12 days. So look, that's progress. That's enough to bring it out.
It's something, yeah. That's. I remember Jasmine saying that if she knits a stitch on something, it goes in the show. So
sometimes you need that. I didn't know how much I would be talking about other things. And this is Volmiza Pure in the Elf colorway. It's being knit on, what size are the greens? Remember?
6s. They're 4.0 millimeters.
Thank you. Of what are these needles called? Man, I just blanked.
Signature?
Thank you. Yeah, they're signature. Shut up. It's been a long day of which I wanted to nap right before you texted me saying, hey, when do you want to record? So Algiers by Kirsten Kapoor. This was the mystery shawl from last summer, and I am finishing it up. I might wear it to your wedding, maybe, if I get it done in time.
Sounds like a plan.
I would have to, decide what I'm wearing to your wedding, so.
Bring a couple things.
Probably jeans.
Yep, wear jeans. I don't care.
So,
as long as you're dressed, that's going to be my only requirement.
It'll be fun. And that's in a fat squirrel bag. And the other, my socks were in my bling string bag. And she's still doing her bag club, which is awesome. And I have a new fat squirrel bag, but I didn't bring it in here. Look, she did Little Red Riding Hood, and it's like Amy Beth hangs out in my head.
She's like, what can I do to get Laura to buy my bags?
Oh, I love Amy Beth.
Oh, speaking of, this is going slightly off topic, but a lot of our people that watch our show watch Malia as well. And she's on kind of a hiatus right now because they're working on buying a house, but she sent me
His and Hers podcast.
No, Malia, not Bella.
I'm sorry.
Yarn Raisin.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she's super smart, and I would like to have her brain and understand how it works, but she's working on buying a house, and she sent me a link that made me think of you to a house that she had looked at.
Uh-huh.
And from the outside, it didn't look anything fancy, but on the inside, it was like wall-to-wall built-in shelves. Like, whoever lived there had like tens of thousands of books. And in the main library room, there was a spiral metal staircase going up. I was like, that is lore.
The only thing that would make it better is if the bookshelves had the little ladder.
The ladder, yeah. I didn't see that in the pictures, but
I would totally have Michael build me one. I was looking at myhabit.com, which is a shopping site in the US, and they do it's owned by Amazon, but they do sale stuff, and I get a lot of stuff for the house there, including my plates that have knitwear on them.
Mm-hmm.
and they had an industrial furniture thing, and it was bookshelves that had the ladder, and I was like, oh, they were like $2,000. So I was like, ooh.
And
But
I'm
it
not
was
really
free
certain
shipping.
that the ceilings in your house would accommodate those, but
They would in that room over there, and like not in this room, but in the in the kitchen where there's no space for them, and also in the hearth room.
yeah.
They would, but because that's like a 12-foot ceiling. Like I sent the link to Beck, and I was like, I need you to talk me out of buying ridiculous shelves that there is no place for in my house and no money to actually buy. So anyway, this is a knitting show.
It is.
Anyway, Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel has an awesome podcast. You should totally watch her, and she does pretty bags. And Malia of Yarn Raising is an amazing, incredible spinner, and also probably one of the smartest people I know.
Yep.
So if you've not seen those two video podcasts, definitely worth checking out. And I have an audio podcast that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Have you talked about what you're knitting on? Have I been talking for like 30 minutes?
17.
Oh, my life is so ridiculous. I'm wearing my curls, by the way, in case people want to know.
That
this
is very fancy.
The curls from Hunter Hammerson's book, Curls.
Okay.
I am fancy.
I'm wearing my Patchwork Threads shirt.
I like that one.
It's got like the
I haven't seen that one yet. I like their V-necks. Are extremely comfortable.
So what I'm working on knitting wise, again, this is a knitting show. I just took this off the needles. I think that might be the title of this episode. This is a knitting show. I just put these on waste yarn because I'll have to do the cuff and toe in an alternating color, which I'm totally fine with. This is...
What color are you going to do?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Gray's a pretty color, I hear.
But most of the sock is gray.
There are different shades of gray, my dear.
There are 50 out here.
I like that. Look, this will go perfect.
It is very nice. Got pops of lime.
Yeah.
So my yarn is Fishnets. It's her Strong Heart base. This is probably the second or third time I've used this base, and I like it. It's a self-striping After the Storm colorway.
Black would be pretty too, but then you're like, I could not do black. I'd have to have like my light on.
Yeah, that would be difficult. So anyway, this is what it looks like in the cake.
Pretty.
And I weighed it to make sure because I thought I might have gone a little far on that sock, but that sock is 49 grams and I have 59 left, so I'm good. So I just cast on literally as we started the show, and I just have a couple rows of ribbing, and I have like 20 rows of ribbing on this sock, so I'll be working on ribbing for a while.
Oh, so you're doing the heel and toe. So you're starting at the top and working.
Yes. Because when I started the socks, I didn't realize that's what I was going to do. So, but then I took it with me. Well, I took the yarn with me. I hadn't started it when I went to QuiltCon with a couple of other projects, but really this is what got worked on. And so it was easy, just in the round and around and around. So.
I love self-striping socks for any place I'm going to be talking to people.
Yeah. So the second thing is here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I have it in my Slip Stitch Studios bag. Or
Joanne's the sweetest.
Slanted stitches. I'm sorry, not slip stitch. Slanted stitches. And it's actually made by someone that we know who lives near Laura.
Who comes to my knit night?
Yeah.
Because she's amazing.
And it's got the metal tape measures inside the top so that it clicks open and closed. I like that a lot. Plus, like, you can stuff a lot. It's like an Amy Beth bag. It's very big. You can stuff a lot in there.
She's one of the awesome people who, along with Eloise and Gail and Maggie, are from Maggie Go and volunteer at Le Bonheur, one of the homes, like not Ronald McDonald House, but something similar, and teach people. They don't do St. Jude; they do Le Bonheur, which is
it's like a children's hospital.
Yeah, it's a children's hospital in Memphis. I almost said in Pittsburgh.
You don't live there anymore, yo.
Don't. And I haven't for like 15 years. But they go and volunteer and teach people how to knit. They're good. They're good folk, my knit group.
Okay, so yes, they are. I like them. I know them. I like them. So I decided to cast on something new this week.
Oh!
In the intent to be able to actually wear it at SSK. Although we spend the majority of our time, and by majority I mean 98% of our time indoors in air conditioning, Laura and I spend a lot of that time running around, so wearing a sweater isn't practical because you're going to sweat through it, just to be a little indelicate.
And we typically wear SSK t-shirts.
Yeah, we usually wear, themed gear.
Us.
This is a terrible picture, but I have linked it in the show notes. It's called Ethereal. It is a lace weight tank, and it's got a lace detail along the top, like over the bust, and then along the edge of the sleeve and down the whole way, plus on the bottom.
That'd be pretty for Maryland Sheep and Wool too, or
yeah. If it gets, if I finish it, which I should. So the sizing is nice. It does have some errata, some errors in the pattern, but I know that because I went and looked through. When I'm getting ready to start a project, I'm a little bit manic about it. I go through and I read like helpful notes from people who've done the project. So, and they have little lifeboats on their project, their little thumbnail. So I go through and read everything, especially anything related to the larger people who knit them, because some designers tend to just make the numbers bigger to make items work for bigger people, and don't include any sort of like shaping or like reality check for, you don't really need to add 4 stitches, for the sleeve or whatever. I've been bitten that way. So I tend to read a lot of the project notes. So I know that there's errata. I know how to fix it. It has not been updated in the pattern as far as I can tell. But the sizing on this goes from 32 chest up to 57 chest.
Wow.
So the sizing is actually pretty good.
And that's a knitty pattern.
It is a knitty pattern. It's from free. 2013, spring, summer 2013. I've linked it in the show notes. And I'm using some yarn that my friend Megan sent me because she bought it and then decided that she did not like lace weight. So it is Hazel Knits.
Ooh, pretty.
The filigree lace, which is 100% superwash. Oh, no. It's 90% merino, 10% nylon, I think.
Oh.
But it is superwash, so it will stretch a little bit. And this is the Ruby Love colorway.
It's really pretty.
And a lot of people, during my manic note reading about this pattern, I love Ravelry. But reading about this pattern, a lot of people mentioned that they had to add garter stitch or something on the bottom edge because as soon as you cast on, it immediately goes into lace. So it tended to curl at the hip.
So what are you going to do?
I'm about to tell you. So I decided I definitely didn't want that because I don't need anything else drawing attention to my hips. They get plenty of attention all on their own. So what I did was painstakingly, this is knit from the bottom up, and for me there were 370 stitches to cast on, and then I did a beaded cast on.
Look at you.
Because the beads will add enough weight to hold it down, to give it a little bit of drape without, and it definitely won't curl with the beads because they give it enough weight at the bottom to help it lay flat. I was also going to add beads in the lace pattern, but I don't think that I will. I think this is plenty. So
you can play it by ear and see if you want to add.
I might add some at the top to add a little bit of sparkle, but we'll see.
Oh.
So I had a mix of random like pinks and opalescent ones, and I just used what I had, and I'm knitting them on size 4s, which are 3.5 millimeter, I think.
Did you swatch for this or no?
I did. I swatched for this, yes. I didn't swatch for this. I swatched and then used the measurements that I got to search for a pattern, which led me to this. You
washed your swatch?
I did, yes. Yep. And I'm actually, the bust sizes are around me. My size are 43 3/4, 48 1/4, 52 3/4, but it has no shaping in it at all.
It doesn't look like it has any ease built in on the model.
It's not. There's no ease built into it. And it's meant to have a little bit of negative ease, like an inch. So what I'm going to do is I cast on for the second biggest size, 52 3/4 for the hips, because I have big hips. And then I'll do shaping up to the waist. Yeah. And then shaping up again around the bust. And I'm using this cute little stitch marker that Froggy Monkey made for us when I came to Memphis.
Awesome.
It's a little singing Elvis. It's really cute.
Super cute.
So, yeah, so that's what I'm knitting. Adding these 300 something beads took forever. like
How did you
6
add them?
hours. So,
How did you add them?
a crochet hook.
Hmm.
So,
Because there's a beaded cast on that you can do where you pre-string them.
that probably would have been easier, but I did not. Because I'm a dummy. But, anyway,
It's just a
that's
different way of doing it.
that's a smarter way of doing it. I should have done that.
Well, you don't have a bead spinner though right now either, do you?
No, I do not.
Because it's down here with me.
We have joint custody of the bead spinner.
No, it's mine. I bought it. I sometimes loan it to you.
Yeah.
It's
So
a nice wooden one. I should next time I see John Z, I should get you one.
we've seen him twice since I saw that bead spinner, but he didn't have anything like it.
He had them at I see him a lot. He does all the
The
Memphis
local
area
shows, yeah.
festivals. So, and he usually has them.
So those are my knitting items. I have a finished object. Do you have anything that you
Oh, I
finished?
do not have any finished objects or any spinning.
Okay. I did not do any spinning this week. I meant to do some, and then I started the cast on for that tank, and like hours disappeared. So I finished. This is a shop sample for Steve of Dramatic Knits. I finished the Much Ado shawl, and it's in the beanstalk colorway. It is a very long, like it's longer than my wingspan, which is 60 inches. So it's like 65 inches or something like that. It's got, oh, it smells good. I washed it in Tuft Woolens. In their lime, in her lime and something scent. It smells so good. It's got a beaded picot edge and very simple lace. And
Yeah.
I got to a point where I only had a few grams of yarn left. So it is very easy to cast off whenever you're close to running out of yarn. It's very easy to do that.
It's cool.
So that's a nice attribute about it. So I will be sending this off to Steve this week. And also got a cute shawl pin I want to show you. Because I spent time on Etsy this week.
That's awesome.
And this is from keepandcherish.etsy.com. And it's a wire one.
Oh, that's pretty. That goes perfect with that shawl.
So it's a little leaf. And then it's got like a hook closure on the back. I bought it mainly because I've been wearing my pumpkin ale a lot because I really like it.
Yeah.
But I wanted something where I could like pin it around the bust and have it not, come off my shoulders. And this can work as a shawl pin or as a sweater pin. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so I like it. I think it's
I'll
pretty.
have to check her out.
And she had tons of different designs. So I probably need to take this out so I don't send it to Steve.
You would appreciate it,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure.
that he would. Anyway, that's it. That's all the knitting that I have for this week.
Okay. We have a question from Thistledown. She says, "Hi everyone. Could someone please help me with expand your horizons question? I tried scrolling through to see what's been going on, but I can't find much help. Are we still doing EYH? I got up to Silk Hankies, and then I let time slip through my fingers and want to catch up now if it's still ongoing. Thank you very much." Well, Leslie and I had talked back in December, and we decided to take a break from Expand Your Horizons just because we felt like we were not giving it the attention that it deserved. It was kind of like always last minute, and we weren't
Because we're
participating.
terrible planning people.
Yeah, like seriously. And we weren't participating as much as we wanted to, and we just wanted to take a break. And she's actually the first person who said anything about it. So that actually made me feel a little bit better about taking the break. I love doing Expand Your Horizons. I love trying new fiber out because that's what Expand Your Horizons was, and new techniques. But it just wasn't feasible with other things we had going on. We weren't giving it the attention it
We
deserved.
just don't have the bandwidth to manage it at this point in time.
Yeah, so we're going to take a year break and see how just taking a year break goes. I would encourage you to, we can start a thread on Ravelry about people talking about different types of fibers they're spinning, because I think that's cool to share. Like, I'm going to start some Cheviot pretty soon. I have to look up how to spin Cheviot first. But we'll start like a Expand Your Horizons thread where you just talk about new things that you're spinning.
Yeah.
But not necessarily have direct...
Right. You don't have any specific goals. You can be
Yeah.
anything.
It can be individual goals. We do have Stash Dash coming up pretty soon.
It's true. I don't know that I'm going to make it this year, but we'll
I'm
see.
tearing off all my needles. Like this owl is taking all my works in progresses off the needles. So we will see. Although to be honest with you, I don't use works in progress a whole lot in Stash Dash. But Stash Dash is an event that we do that
Over the
starts
summer.
in late May, Memorial Day, and goes until I get back in school.
It's all about who?
Well, that's true.
It is your
Um,
birthday month.
it is. It just started today. Kobe's birthday is before mine. So is Dr. Seuss's. Um, so we will get information up about that more towards May, beginning of May, but it doesn't start till Memorial Day weekend. And if I keep getting snow, it might never start because I will be in school. Either we're losing our spring break or I'm going for 4 Saturdays in April. Luckily, not the Stitches Saturday or the Saturday of Leslie's wedding.
That would be inconvenient.
But yeah, it's actually 1 Saturday in March and then 3 Saturdays in April. But there might not be a whole lot of knitting progress in April if I'm in school every Saturday. We'll see.
So, the book review that you have down is not the one it was when you started the show notes.
Because when we started the show notes, it was what?
It was Folly Cove.
And we did Folly Cove last week.
Oh, okay. We did,
Do you not? Yes. Do you not have Yokes with you?
I do, yeah. I was very suspicious of the change, and now I know why. Whew, I haven't had enough caffeine today.
It's not the one on the calendar, though, either. We use Google Calendar to keep track of what we're reviewing, and it's going to be Coop Knits Socks, her new book, next week. It was supposed to be this week, but we had skipped a week of book reviews, so now we're one back. But the book review for this week is Yokes.
Yep.
By Kate Davies Designs. It is an amazing book. I'm super, like, the amount of information in this book is incredible. It is all sweater designs for the most part. There's kind of a poncho thing.
And there's a visual index.
Yep. There's also a hand-drawn index of the different shapes. And then it goes into why Yokes and the history behind it, including lots of different pictures. And there's actually, and I had no idea, there's several different types of yokes for yoked sweaters. There's the Greenlanders and Norwegians yokes, which first became kind of popular with the movie Eskimo. There is the Bohus yoke, which I had no idea, like that. I had heard that term before, and there's actually a book called Poems of Color that goes into that, but I had no idea how it was different, and it all centers around wearable arts, what was considered wearable art, and kind of like Lantern Moon does and Infinite Twist, creating sustainable jobs for people in a community. So that was really fascinating. And then there's the Shetland Tree and Star and Shetland Yokes, which are totally different.
Yeah, and they're done in several ways. Like there's even one that's a beaded collar, which I think is a great twist on it.
And then the more I'm gonna mispronounce.
Lopapeza?
There you go. Yokes, which are again different. And some of the differences have to do with how the sweater was constructed. Like in the Shetlands, originally they were machine knit, and then the yokes were hand knit because that was an industry. And then going into Meg Swanson and Elizabeth Zimmerman's percentage system, which I actually watched Elizabeth Zimmerman, one of her DVDs today that went into that. And if you can get your hands on the Elizabeth Zimmerman DVDs, they are really, really interesting, and her percentage system is wonderful.
I think you can download those or order them from Schoolhouse Press.
Yeah, you can order them through Schoolhouse Press. So a lot of really interesting, then it goes into Canadian Yokes. A lot of really interesting background information. And then how yokes fit differently. So
there's 40 pages of really well-researched information about Yokes. So if you're someone who really loves the why behind something, this is a great book for you. Kate
And
did
the
a
history.
wonderful job of
Hmm.
gathering all this information.
And then it goes into patterns, and
Hmm.
there are just some gorgeous patterns in this book. There is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4,
There's
5,
11 designs.
10, 11. Thank you. And the first is like, I know this would not be flattering on me, but I want it. Like, it would be just like a little cocoon that I could curl up in, and I know that it would not, because it's a bulky wool.
Hmm.
Um, so it would knit up really, really fast. And
Yeah,
it goes into a circumference of 50, 60, or 70 inches because it goes around you. But
yes.
it would be like my little cocoon of warmth.
It would be really, really warm, but just not super practical for daily basis for what you and I do.
And for Memphis.
That's
Like,
true.
but it's super pretty. Great charts. You can see the corrugated ribbing there. The charts are very clear, they're very large. The information is given. So like the sizes is given and the yarn usage in tables. So it's really easy to figure out how much of each color you need and what yarn. The instructions are numbered on the side, which I really, really like. So you do that first, then
Hmm.
you do that second. So you can see very visually where things are changing.
Yeah.
And then there's some really gorgeous sweaters in here.
Yeah.
The next one,
Epistrophe.
yes.
It's very simple but beautiful. And the sizing is pretty generous. It goes from a 32-inch bust up to a 52 and 3/4 inch bust. Um, Although yoked sweaters are pretty easy to modify if you need to add or remove stitches. Great big charts.
Yep. It's a steeked cardigan, so if you want to get into steeking, this would be a wonderful way of doing it. This is a necklace yoked sweater, so the design is all up here. And it's just really, really pretty. I really like the details on the ribbing too at the bottom. It's not like a standard ribbing. I don't know that you can
Yeah,
see it.
it's got like
Like a moss stitch in
yeah.
between, which is really, really pretty. It's just a gorgeous sweater. And she goes into finishing. So, how exactly to finish things with ribbon. And then there's Keith Moon, which is inspired by boat neck sweaters, which you can totally see.
Right.
It's big bands of color, so
Yes.
it immediately draws your attention up towards the top to the yoke and the face. So it's
And if
extremely
you're wary of Fair
colorful.
Isle, but you like a yoked sweater, this might be one you could try.
Yep.
I really like the next one. It's called Fintry, but it's got great shaping in it. It's very simple, but some beautiful details in the yoke with just texture.
And
I
it
just think
uses a
it's
Cordale yarn,
yeah.
Gold Maiden Ants Cordale, in a DK weight, I believe.
This one goes from 29 to a 49 and 1/2 inch bust.
And she tells you how much ease to work in for a
Hmm.
neat fit, which is pictured. Do 1 inch positive ease from your bust, and for a more relaxed fit, work 2 to 3 inches. So she does go into that, and she also gives a little blurb for each one about what inspired it.
I really like the styling in this book. Each sweater really has its own personality with the way that it's styled. Like you mentioned this one earlier, Keith Moon to be boat neck. This is the totally a coast pier outfit with
Oh yeah.
the leggings and the flats and everything. And then the next one I really like is Buchanan, and
Mm-hmm.
it's paired with a plaid skirt, but the colors are near perfect
Yep.
matches. And this one's done
Oh,
as a short sleeve sweater with lots of great geometric color at the yoke.
and that's more of the Greenland Icelandic yoke. And that's out of an Aran weight, so it would knit up fairly quickly.
Hmm.
I love this next one. This is what I think of with traditional yoked Fair Isle sweaters, like the Elizabeth Zimmerman style sweaters.
This one's Asta Solilja,
Hmm.
I believe.
See, I'm making you pronounce
Yeah, I
everything.
noticed that you skipped over the title.
But it would be great with a pair of jeans. Just really pretty shading,
yeah,
and obviously you can make all the colors work for you, but there's that detail at the bottom,
mm-hmm.
which also goes with the detail at the top. And again,
And the
like Leslie
cuffs.
said, the styling's just great in this
Yeah,
book.
I agree. It's done very well. Foxglove is beautiful.
See, I would have said that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have. So this one is another cardigan with some very simple Shetland tree detail around the yoke.
I love the buttons that she used on the sample, though, are perfect too.
Mm-hmm.
They've got that little bit of floral foxgloves in them. And that uses Jameson and Smith. All of these are really well sized. They go typically from a 33 up to a 51 and a half.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one is the Cockatoo Bray,
which is the cover sweater.
And that is actually machine knit. The sample was machine knit, and then the yoke in that Shetland style was picked up and worked. So she tells you not only how to hand knit it, but also how to machine knit the pieces if you're trying to. So there's instructions for both, which is really cool.
Yeah. Again, the sizing is good. It goes from 33 to 51 and a half. Great big charts, lots of very easy to read. As is most color work, it's only charted. It's not written.
Mm-hmm. The frost at midnight is just stunning. That beaded yoke.
I agree. I think that is a really...
It uses lace weight yarn, so it would be
Whew.
such a nice, fancy...
Is it lace weight held double, or...?
No, it's just lace weight.
Oh, goodness.
And
but it's like sheer almost.
Yes.
It's light. Okay. I
and
thought
it's
it was...
got the picot edging on both the bottom, top, and the button band, which, I mean, it's just a gorgeous piece.
It is. It is really beautiful, and I think it's a new take, one that we haven't seen in a while, which is hard to do sometimes in knitting. And then there is this behemoth, and I don't say that in a bad way. I just mean that it's a lot of knitting.
It's so pretty, though.
Really, I would wear the hell out of it, but...
Like, that would be my jacket.
It's called Westering Home, and it's a very large swing knit sort of...
cabled piece.
Yeah, it's more a jacket than a sweater. It is very thick. It's knit out of an Aran weight yarn.
It's just so cozy looking.
It is.
And the styling on it is so pretty.
Yes, again with this, she's got sort of a color coordinated big full skirt on the model. The Kate Davies should do what was the
styling?
Word? Styling. Thank you. I was just she should do styling professionally because it's really well done here.
In the back, there's a special technique section where it's not a learn how to knit, but it tells you like how to swatch for the pieces, how, provisional cast-ons she recommends, how to do different things, but also not just how to do them, but also a little bit of the history.
Yeah, she's very much into the why, and not just the patterns, which is really nice. So this is Yokes by Kate Davies.
Yep.
You can get it at Kate Davies Designs. It goes for £19.99. I'm not certain, and that fluctuates based on U.S. dollar value. So,
yep.
And for you can get a digital copy with every physical copy. It comes with a code that you can download it to your computer. I don't know whether you can get it to your Ravelry library or not, but anyway.
Yep, that's Yokes.
And
I love it. I want to knit all the things out of it.
Yes, it's a really thorough exploration of yoke sweaters. So,
if that's what you're into, perfect book for you. What have you been reading, my dear?
Well, I started this book last week called Immortal Coil. And it's about dragon spirits inhabiting human bodies, and it's science fiction, so there's anyway, but it had quite a bit more romance than what I usually read. So once I read it, I was like, man, I guess I'm kind of in the mood for some more romance. So I went down this rabbit hole of science fiction romance that like bordered on erotica a little bit. And I was like, and finally, and I've read like 4 books this week, and finally I was like, this is ridiculous. I need to get back to something that I get something out of. Like, so.
You don't get anything out of. Never mind.
So
I'm stopping that right now.
I'm not linking the fluff books I read because you can all pick your own. But I started the Breaker series, which is a post-apocalyptic series based in the U.S. I started that last night. So
Cool. I am re-listening to Poison Study by Maria Snyder. The new book came out. Have you ever read Poison Study?
I don't think so.
Oh, you would like Poison Study. Poison Study is amazing. It originally was a trilogy, and it is about a woman who has been accused of a crime, which is murder, and she's kind of in the dungeons of this place, and she gets pulled out to be the taste tester for the king's food. So she is the poison tester.
Oh, okay.
And it is, I would put it in my top 10 books of all time. It is really
Wow.
good. And so the author has gone on and done like one spin-off series, and then she did a totally different world series, which I read the first 2 of and really enjoyed, and then the third one was like, I couldn't get into it. I need to reread it. But the Audible version of Poison Study is really well done. Um, and so a new one in that series just came out. Like she's gone back to that
Yeah.
original series, and it just came out this past Tuesday. So I immediately added it to my Audible account because I have too many Audible credits, and you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back and re-listen to the first original 3 Poison Studies, and maybe the spin-off series because that same person plays a role in that, and then I'm going to listen to the new one. So I'm excited. I'm going to do it as I process books at work. I'm going to take my headphones to work and process books and
I'm
get stuff.
still listening to Furies of Calderon, a Jim Butcher novel.
Uh-huh. I like the first one in that series.
It was really hard to get into it, but finally I've gotten to a point where I actually care about the character, so it's going easier. And I downloaded the Amanda Palmer book, The Art of Asking.
Yeah,
It's actually narrated by her, but I haven't
I've
started
heard
it
really
yet.
good
So
things about that.
yeah, so we shall see.
Cool. On favorite things, we have one of our friends contacted us. She is doing a fundraiser for shelter dogs, and there are a ton of knitting and
Mhm.
spinning prizes that are up for grabs. Some really great stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
there's hand spun, there's fiber from like Nest, there's
Stuff from Gusler Designs.
yeah, Dream in Color is donating stuff. There are project bags up for donation. Um, Hello Yarn is up for donation. There's a lot. There's like 30 prizes right so far. And the reason that this is the lady, her name is River Waters. I don't know her actual name. Jessica. Sorry.
Jessica.
She's donated, or she has adopted 2 dogs from this local rescue, and they just started rescuing cats as well. And it's called Reach Rescue, and we've linked all this in our show notes. But I'm sort of a sucker for pet rescue things. I send the people that we got Buffy from $100 every year, you know, just trying to help do my little bit. And I know I'm going to donate something as well for prize bucket, and all they're trying to get is to $1,000. $1,000. That's all they're trying to raise.
Yep.
They're almost halfway there. They're at 410. So we've linked all this in our show notes, and I'll link it in the Ravelry post about the episode as well, just to make it easier. So if you're interested and you have the spare money, think about donating to the Reach Rescue. And if not, maybe you can contribute a prize or something.
Yep. Our good friend Paula of the Knitting Pipeline podcast hit 200 episodes this week.
Yeah, she
That's-
celebrated by reading a letter from Elizabeth Zimmerman, right?
Yes, and Paula is one of the podcasts that both Leslie and I listen to.
Mhm.
It's an audio podcast, and she is one of the nicest people that you will ever meet. but she does a really interesting, unique knitting podcast that is extremely informative in multiple ways. I love her nature notes, and Paula's just a sweetheart. So if you are looking for a new knitting podcast, you should check her out. She is audio, and she is wonderful. And we just wanted to say congratulations to Paula because that is quite a milestone. 200 episodes is a milestone.
It is.
So congratulations, Paula. And then we have a Dream in Color Mammoth
the giveaway,
right? Which looks like that's Canyon.
It's your purple one, right?
It is the purple one. I keep I have both the Canyon and the Mammoth sitting here, and I'm just like, oh.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the random number generator.
This is Goblin Valley, and Dream in Color was nice enough to send us a skein of Mammoth, which I absolutely adore. That hat is so cute.
It really is.
And
it's very luscious and bouncy.
I think it would be a perfect sweater yarn. It would be awesome. Oh, my dream sweater would be that Kate Davies big cable.
So if anybody wants to knit that for Laura,
that would be incredible.
So
that would be the most amazing thing ever.
What numbers are we pulling from?
We are going to 282.
So between number 2 and number 282. So I have not hit the button, and I will hit the button, and the number is 2. No kidding.
That's awesome.
So the first person who entered wins it.
The frosted cow.
That's pretty awesome.
That's really awesome. That's amazing.
It really is.
That never happened.
I know, that's awesome.
So pretty. So the frosted cow contacts me, Lala, and I will send the purple skein of Mammoth your way. For sure. And then when I saw Denise and Chris of Lost City Knits, who are the most amazing people ever, very supportive of our show, they gave me a prize to give away. And it is the May Emma scarf.
Oh, it's got some really beautiful lace.
This is designed by Denise. Denise does incredible designs. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I had my thing big, so I couldn't see what I was actually showing.
You had your thing
big. Really, really pretty. And they gave, this is Chris and Denise, a skein of their gorgeous lace. This is the North Pasture alpaca lace in the coral wreath colorway. It is 490 yards. So it's a complete kit for the most part. I mean, you'd have to supply your own needles, but come on now. And all you need to do is go over to Lost City Knits because they are fancy folk, and their website, and tell us your favorite thing that they carry, because they carry some really awesome stuff, and they will be at Stitches South. So I will get to spend time with them in just a few weeks, which is amazing because they're good folk. And I was telling Denise, Chris did not wear his kilts to Oxford, and I was like, Chris.
I was just about to say, Chris always wears a kilt. That's like...
And he's in Oxford.
That brings people
very
to the
disappointed.
You're losing customers.
So I'll see them in Stitches South, which will be super fun. The list of vendors for Stitches South is up on their website.
And that's in Nashville in April, right?
Nashville, it's like the 22nd in April, where I'm going to do a meetup with folk. I am taking a class in the morning. I just went back and reread that class, and Vicky better hold my hand. I'll have Joe Sock on one side and Vicky on the other, because...
You know, Vicky's pretty fearless, because a month ago she never knit a sweater, and now she's on her third one.
I went back and read, and I'm a little bit intimidated of what I signed up for, but it's going to be awesome.
You'll learn something.
Oh, I'm going to learn all the things because I have no idea about any of these techniques. Like, there's Farrell flat, but it's Farrell flat, but you backwards knit the Farrell on the reverse side. And then it's creating socks with soles, like, kind of like the moccasin socks. So it's going to be all new to me, which is awesome and going to be super fun, but I'm also very intimidated by it. Great vendors. Two Guys is going to be there. Lost City is going to be there. Amy Alicia is going to be there. So many. Plucky is going to be there. So many awesome people.
You better get some Plucky, because that's the only place you get.
No, she's got an online site. I just need to be faster.
Yeah.
I would love to do over the winter holiday when I was up. I tried on Becky's Snow Tin Can Knits has that raindrop sweater.
Yeah. It's in my queue.
Yep, and Beck knit it, and I tried on hers, and I love the way it fit. So I might get enough either Two Guys or Plucky for that sweater because Two Guys has the most gorgeous semi-solids.
Yeah, they have a lot of really nice saturated colors. And
So,
Two Guys is Two Guys Yarn Company.
yep.
I have some of the yarn.
So lots of nice stuff.
Etsy.com/shop/2guysyarn, the number 2.
Yep. And they just got back from Stitches West. They drove all the way out there from Chicago.
Jeez.
So I'm super excited. And then after that, Leslie and I will both be at Maryland Sheep and Wool.
Yep.
And we will do the meetup there. I know Minerva Turkey of the Minerva Turkey Knits podcast will be there, and she's super fun.
Yeah.
She's taking a class with JC Boggs, which I'm totally jealous about.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, we've done that, so.
I know, but I want to take all the classes with JC because she's amazing. And then Leslie and I, the next event we will be going to is Estes.
Mm-hmm. That's new. We just added that.
Yeah, so we just got our plane tickets for that, and we're super excited. Neither of us have ever been to a West Coast event, I think.
Well, this is
Period.
West Coast. Estes is in Colorado.
Colorado, but Colorado is kind of, it's
more
more
west of you.
It's west of the Mississippi.
Yes.
It's West Coast, kind of.
Sort of a Midwest state.
Yeah,
But
kind of.
We're mostly going to hang out with our friends that'll be in the area, so.
Watching Leaping Llamas. Don't they have the, I like how I just did my hands like that. Don't they have the llamas that do like the under? Oh, we can meet up with Karen.
Oh yeah, that's true. Round the Twist Karen,
And
yes.
see the
I bet
baby.
she'll be there because she lives so close now.
Oh, we can see the babies. We'll have to
Yes.
text her.
Well, they'll be
And-
toddlers by then.
Oh man.
But
Let's
yes.
see if she'll go. Anyway, so we are going to Estes, and then we will be at SSK,
Mm-hmm.
and then I am debating Stitches Midwest. It just depends on a bunch of stuff.
It's always a good time with Becca and Carrie and them.
Oh, it's such a fun time. It's just flight there, and typically it's the first week of school.
Yeah.
So it just all depends on that. And then you'll be at Rhinebeck.
I'll be at Rhinebeck, yep.
And that's it for 2015.
Yep, as far as I know. I hope, because I got a lot of other travel. Our casino, I work at a casino company, and they're opening another casino in North Carolina, I think.
Ooh, where in North Carolina?
I don't know.
They have the one down near Cherokee already.
Yeah, well, it's kind of close to Cherokee, but not in the same area. So anyway, so I'll be there after SSK probably.
So you'll probably be near Asheville, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll scout out the local yarn shops. Trust me. I always do.
There's a good one at Black Mountain. That's really wonderful. If you're anywhere near that. That's like my old stomping grounds. It's that Hickory, North Carolina area.
Yeah. So also, I'm doing a D-stash.
You are?
I am. So I got back from QuiltCon, and I just have so much stuff. And I've accrued it over the years, but still, it's a lot of stuff. And it's a lot of great stuff. I just cannot conceivably work through it in my lifetime. Well, maybe in my lifetime, but my tastes change, as the years go by. So I had over 150 things yesterday when I listed it, or Friday. It's around 100 now. So I still have tons of great stuff. If you're looking for anything, check it out. Don't feel obligated, but there's still a lot of great stuff there.
Yep.
You were saying something and I interrupted you.
No, I was thinking if you're in that western North Carolina region, my parents will be probably living there at that point. Like, they'll be right over the Tennessee border.
Well, they're supposed to be living there by, last year,
I
right?
know.
So, we'll see.
They had at least 4 showings on their house this weekend because their alarm company kept calling. because they kept having to send the police to their house because
Oh,
some realtors could not put in the code correctly.
it's
So
happened to me before.
that's super fun. I know. Oh, and you let the cat out.
Yes, I did. I'm an
That's
awesome house
hilarious.
sitter. Um, what else? Also, um, I would like to put it out there if there are any of our viewers who have long arm quilting machines who are willing to do an exchange for me. I have a hard time accepting that I'm going to have to pay after I've pieced the quilt top and basted everything together. My machine can do the quilting, but it's kind of hard to manhandle it around. And it's really hard on your wrists to push that much fabric around. So I've looked into all of the doing it on a home machine and the Flynn system and all that other junk. I've looked into it, and it's just a lot more trouble than it's worth, in my opinion. So I would like to put out there that if there are any long arm quilters that watch the show that would quilt a top in exchange for a hand knit pair of socks or something, comparable to that, hit me up because I'm looking for someone to do my long arm quilting for me without me having to pay money to do it and do it in trade, whether that be in yarn or knitted objects or whatever. So I figure I'll crowdsource. Worst that can happen is nobody answers. So what else do we have?
Or hand spun too.
What? Oh yeah, or hand spun. I could do hand spun, but I'm not going to knit a sweater for it. So
That's it, I think.
uh, our SSK
Um, the
scholarships.
the SSK,
It's okay. We just got a little
yes.
delayed. It's fine.
So the SSK scholarships, the SSK scholarships will be posted to Rav in the SSK group. Let's put all that up, and she's going to put up voting details as well.
Yes, so we're going to
So
have a
I think
viewing
that's it.
period for all of the. Laura and I, whenever somebody gets on one of our networks and starts downloading something, it sort of kills the feed. So sorry if there's a delay. Um, can't do anything about it. But basically, we're going to have the scholarship entries. We had almost 30, and we're going to post them. I'll post them in a thread on Ravelry. The thread will be locked, so you can read them, but you can't. No one can edit them or anything like that. So you'll have 2 weeks to review them and think it over, and then we will have attendee voting. Probably after the first few days, we'll set up a way for you to vote in a separate thread or something. So we're going to have it all done publicly. So you put your vote up publicly via a post that says, okay, I'm Lala Knits and I'm going to vote for entry number 5. Although Laura and I will not be voting. It's strictly up to the attendees. Only the attendees of this year's SSK get to vote. Anybody that's not an attendee will just remove your post. This way, it's totally in the open. You can tell there's no bias whatsoever. We have no control over who wins. It's all up to the attendees to pick a winner, not us. So we will put the entries out there this week, and then after a few days, I will add the details on how you'll do your voting and where you'll do your voting. So we want to thank Three Waters Farm, lots
Yes.
and lots, because Three Waters Farm is paying for this person to come to SSK.
They're
And
the sponsor of the scholarship.
yes, they are the sponsors of the scholarship, and they're also going to be the sponsors of an upcoming spin along that we're going to do. We're going to have a custom colorway done and do a spin along, which we haven't done in several years, which is great.
I know it's been a little while. This is a good way to kick off our 5th anniversary.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, you can check Three Waters Farm out at threewatersfarm.com. They have a fantastic top of the month club that's very affordable. And I think that's it for this week. Do you have
There
anything
you go.
else?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, I am going to work on getting the post production done, and we will see you next week.
Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.